ever?
Well, I mean, when it first came out, I was like, you know, it was a while ago.
You were like a little girl, right?
So I knew him from movies.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. I wasn't total, but I've seen it now.
So you find this couple in the beginning that, you know, you've been with this whole time, and it's the first time that you actually feel like you're not watching a story of how they're going to stay together or not stay together. It's they're done. It's very official. They're united. And the beginning's really happy. Like, it's the happiest the series ever gets. It's really light. They know each other now in a much more realistic way. They're not just sort of enamored with each other. They really are able to, like, live. And then it all gets crazy. Unfortunately, I cannot claim that that was all me. That was by the hands of a few very, very, very talented people. And I'm glad too, because I'm so responsible for everything that Bella is, except for that. And so to see the finished product and know that they pushed it as far as they possibly could, I'm pretty happy.
Is that true?
That was true, yeah. That was very strange, but that was the first thing she decided to tell me. But like, no, I remember that conversation. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. Thanks for the advice.
And how happy?
In a way?
It is funny that it does coincide with, I mean, not that I ever really, I mean, it's interesting to think about, but I never thought about it on set or anything. I never thought like, wow, you know, we have similar experiences in life, me and old Bella. It's weird. They coincide. Like, graduating high school sort of coincided. Certain little things, just things that click in life, little milestones. They definitely, I was with her, like, on weird levels. But I think more so, like, my, what I was so surprised that I related to the most, like, what I loved about her was that she is a very unlikely matriarch, but God, she is like a lioness. I mean, suddenly Bella is like, whoa, okay, fine, you've got it. And I loved that. I thought it was hard to play from a girl like that too. Sort of like meek to not meek.
It was good to see that.
I don't know. I mean, I did this movie with David Cronenberg, which I just finished, playing a sort of billionaire currency trader. It's a Don DeLillo novel. But I don't know. I mean, just staying employed in one form or another is enough for me. I mean, I got very low expectations.
You're doing pretty well for yourself.
She's completely isolated, completely alone. And I think everyone feels that way sometimes. And so it's definitely an easy thing to relate to.
It was mainly CGI. I mean, she's pretty skinny, but
that was...
Yeah, no, there's definitely... she didn't lose. She wasn't like 12 pounds.
Is that CGI as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That we had an entire day to do that scene.
It probably took an entire day to film.
Yeah, 2 takes later, and it's like lunch. And then, yeah, that was one of the scarier scenes. I've been talking a lot. Scenes to shoot. It needed to be really specific because vampires don't exist, right? And so you don't know what it feels like to be around one, or to let alone have like that connection. So we wanted it to be really, really hard, and it was really stressful to get it right, to have like the responsiveness be really specific and like acute and noticeable. So
I get that it's not. It's quite unique, like in this generation. I mean, I really can't think of another book where it's literally so melodramatic and it takes itself so seriously, but at the same time it's very, very real. And I don't know, I think it's just the way it's written, it just seems so personal. It seems like it wasn't really meant for publication.
No, actually, I was thinking that they would definitely tone it down. I mean, considering it's a huge commercial movie, and you wouldn't think that they would want their main character just looking awful for half the movie. But it is so important, I think, to see Bella so close to death, because she talks about it throughout the whole series, that she's willing to die for this, and you see her get really close this time, and I think it's important. I think it's awesome that they weren't scared of that.
Have sex, demon baby. No, they get married first.
Yeah.
Demon baby, Jacob falls in love with the little baby. But everyone tries to kill each other, but nothing happens. That's the second one.
It is so strange, because we're all used to that as actors, but this was different. It was like a series. I've never done a TV series, but I think it's probably something like that. It felt so good though. It wasn't one of those situations where I was crying and going like, God, I can't believe it's over. Like, what are we gonna do? You need to call me. We did everything that we were like there to do. And it was like very zen. It was like, all right, guys, good job. I'll see you soon. You know what I mean? It was like, I know that they're not going anywhere either. I mean, our relationships are pretty cemented, so.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing when I came out. There were 2 auditions which I came out for, and Twilight was something which I didn't have any. I thought I was close on the other 2, and I didn't get either of those 2 parts, and I was just sitting in LA being like, what am I doing? I'm telling people I'm an actor and not getting any jobs, so you know, you're not an actor. And suddenly this came, and then now you're putting your handprints in Grauman's Chinese theatre. It's completely crazy. And there's a guy dressed up as you outside the theatre as well, which is taking photos with people, which is pretty funny. The first time I came to LA, I used to be friends with a guy who dressed up as Spider-Man. And we used to play gigs together. That was the difference. I mean, I never thought I'd be putting my actual hands in it.
Know your role.
Know your role? Oh, know your place?
Yeah. Speak when you're spoken to. It's cool.
I'm about 16, I kind of started.
16, do you remember the moment? Do you remember the motivation, the impulse there?
I wanted to meet girls. That was like the main thing. I think that's pretty much what I always hear interviews with people and they're saying like, you know, they were doing sports or something and then they got injured and then they just thought that was there's all the girls are in the drama class.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's
I
not
didn't do sports.
That's not a bad thing.
I don't know. I think I get asked all the time how I could get behind playing a character that is so sort of submissive and like the sacrificial lamb. I think it is the most valiant thing to be able to give yourself to someone, and he gives himself to her equally. I don't know why everyone likes to focus on her. It almost says something about the people that have that opinion. But I think that the fact that they're so, I don't know, just die hard invested. It's nice. It's rare. I think it's cool.
I'm like one of the least likely people to get a job like this, and also like one of the worst people in this to deal with it. Because I'm basically, it's really the only thing I have to actually deal with, which kind of is a serious-ish issue. Just people following me. It's like that's the craziest thing in the world, like having to look like when you're driving or something, and you're just constantly looking in your mirror.
I've been cooking for a bunch of people. I just cooked for 20 people.
20 people in the movie? 20 friends?
Yeah, a few in the movie, and then like it went much better than the first time I tried to cook for them. I completely botched a meal. Actually, when we were doing Eclipse, and like the cast, I finally like renewed their faith in me that I actually can make edible food.
I mean, it definitely felt like something was right in the audition. I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to do it. I just thought like, oh, this is how you're supposed to play it. I really had no idea how to play it until I met her, and then there's definitely something. And I saw some of this. I haven't seen the movie, but I saw some of the scenes, and you can definitely feel something. It's weird watching it because I don't feel like I'm watching me.
I loved it. Luckily, I never put it on and went, uh-oh. You know what I mean? It always felt like it was very close to being perfect. And also it was like such a committee, sort of decision by committee thing. It was like, I knew that if I had something like really big to say, I could say it. But when it came down to it, everyone, as long as Stephanie was happy pretty much, it was sort of like, we're all good. Probably most excited about the wedding and a few moments during the honeymoon and the birth. We've been talking about the birth all day. No, man, literally, like I can't even. I can't. I don't have the words. It's awesome. It's so good. I'm like over the moon about it. Can't even talk.
Yeah. I mean, I think. I think they're almost more excited than I am about it.
I can kind of believe that.
I don't know, it feels very complete to me. So I don't want to go back. Nothing weighs on my head. You know, I don't think, gosh, I want to go back and redo this, or probably working with the boys. I loved it.
I didn't. Just crying every day. No, I mean, I think this one was nice because it kind of, you know, if you go to more extreme places, I mean, the second and the third movie were more sort of, you know the characters, and it's kind of, it's more of an adventure with those characters, and this one went kind of back to the basics that the first one had. It was very, very tight-knit group of characters, and it's all set in basically pretty much all in one house. I mean, and it's just a family drama with a sort of really strange core to it.
It's kind of all about the whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of thing, you know, and I'm not at all like that, you know, I'm not any kind of a party girl. This is just kind of another side to the job. I'm not out every night or anything like that.
I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, God, it's just like the year of weddings. There's been these huge weddings all year. It's so strange. Like, yeah, hopefully you'll be able to compete with the royal wedding and the Kardashian wedding.
Yeah, it is. And actually, like, it poses for really uncomfortable situations. Sometimes I feel really bad. And when you have to ask, especially at a press conference, somebody says, asks their question, and you go, I'm sorry, can you just say that one more time? And then they do, and you go, oh, I didn't, like, if you don't understand it the second time, you feel like such a jerk, because then you have to, like, it's totally me, excuse me, I'm so sorry, can you just repeat that one more time? And then somebody, like, steps in and has to tell you, and you're like, oh, of course, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, that's always a tough one. And also, I love hearing words that I know amidst a different
Especially
language.
like in Latin America.
I think they're more in love with the movies.
They're in love with you.
Well, if they are, they got bad taste.
Everyone there all at once is definitely a strange experience, and it makes you look around differently. Because I was being very strange that day anyway. I was just in an odd mood. I was able to shake all of my nerves, which I'm never able to do, and I was just sort of like really taking everything in, and I don't know. It was great to see everyone. It was like it felt like sort of a little ceremony before like a rap party. Do you know what I mean? Because it was pretty much the last scene that we did. Yeah.
Cool.
And my favorite scenes are the birth and a little bit in. I'm saying the exact same things as you. But in the balcony. What am I talking about? The honeymoon. For some reason I have balcony where.
I think it's just awesome that we're floating literally right around Saturn. We're basically like a piece of the debris that makes up the rings of Saturn.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I've always been vaguely curious as why. I mean, it's not just so much teenage girls. It's older than people realize.
Older women.
And the older ones are the far more passionate fans.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because
I think that was like the name of the first Twilight, and then like you know, Breaking Dawn's always really funny. You'll hear like a whole bunch of Spanish, and then Breaking Dawn, and you're like, okay, cool. I know that one.
Yeah, I think so in some ways. I mean, it's kind of, but in some ways it was kind of just easier because he had more stuff to do. I mean, it's like, and you know, you're going, it's the whole spectrum of emotions. I mean, you're kind of, he's finally happy at the beginning, and then just gets sort of systematically the happiness beaten out of him.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of an unlucky guy.